Breaking news, floodwaters in the streets of downtown Mobile starting to recede. You're looking at a live shot of Water Street right now, much different a few hours earlier.
Earlier, a man driving there stalled in the water. NBC 15's Zora Asbury went out there to make sure the man and his dog were okay. In order to prevent more stalled cars, officials have closed the ramp from I-10 onto Water Street now, and they're urging drivers, if there is water over the road, turn around.
All right, and Hurricane Nate has weakened to a tropical storm, but not before battering the Gulf Coast with strong winds and severe storm surge.
Now, thousands of people are in the dark and some streets are still underwater while crews work to restore power and clear debris covering the streets. NBC 15 reporters are surveying the damage across the Gulf Coast from Biloxi east to Gulf Shores.
Now, Nate made landfall in Mississippi as a Category 1 hurricane just after midnight. That was near Biloxi, and the storm surge hit coastal businesses really hard. We want you to take a look at this video. The first floor of the parking garage of the Golden Nugget Casino flooded, and look at those winds. High winds, rain whipping across those floodwaters. And inside the casino, you can see just how high the water got. Wow, that is impressive. The storm surge brought feet of water up to the windows on the first floor.
Look at this, a look at video inside the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Firefighters are wading through the waters in a stairwell before busting through a door leading into the parking garage. You can see just how high the water was there.
And outside the Beau Rivage, streets flooded. Take a look at the screen there, the shot of Highway 90 from early this morning. We've all been there. We can remember how this road looks when it's not covered, but it is now. Officials say the water did not reach inside the Beau Rivage.
And look at how high the water reached in the Island View parking garage. Officials say the water did not reach inside the casino, so some good news there.
Our team coverage now takes us to Nicole Fierro. She is live in Biloxi.
And Nicole, for the most part, the storm surge has finally receded, but it looks like a sailboat there has washed ashore.
That's right, Andrea. As the water has receded, it's really unveiling some of the damage that Nate has left behind here in Biloxi. Let's start with this massive sailboat behind me. You can just see it's so large, completely washed ashore here. And daylight's really just highlighting so much damage that this storm has brought to the area. We've seen massive rocks spewed across the highway. We've seen dumpster trucks just thrown along the street. And of course, those casinos. Everyone has seen the video of the water just going into parking lots. Our own reporters even stuck there. Well, I just got off the phone with one of the managers at our PR person at Golden Nugget. He says there's some good news that while it looks so bad, they're actually going to be fine and could be open as early as today. We're going to continue to track all of this and bring you the damage, but just take a look at this ship. I mean, it's astounding to see just how large it is and just how much it just got completely washed up. We're told that where we are right now, we're along Highway 90. This was completely covered in water, and you can just see how strong these winds, how powerful they were just by this image right before me. I mean, it's shocking. We were driving along the road and it just completely took our breath away. So we're going to continue to bring you these stories and show you all of this as daylight comes and as we travel more along the city. But for now, live in Biloxi, Nicole Fierro, NBC 15 News.
Yeah, some incredible images there. Thank you so much, Nicole. And here in Mobile County, coastal areas were slammed by storm surge.
NBC 15 Zora Asbury has been everywhere this morning. This moment, she is live on Dauphin Island, and she's been there on and off for about 3 days, watching conditions change drastically. And Zora, you didn't remember it looking like that when you left.
Well, Darwin, Andrea, we haven't even been able to make it to Dauphin Island. If you take a look here in the distance, that's the Dauphin Island Bridge. Because of the debris from Tropical Storm Nate, we have not even been able to pass this road. We've seen crews out here cleaning, but as you guys take a walk with me, you can see boards and debris just scattered all over the place here and just washed up from Hurricane Nate when it was a hurricane, and it's now been downgraded to a tropical storm. But I mean, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing boards all over the road, and we were just stopped by the ALDOT, who told us that they actually are closing this road so that they can clean some of this debris. But I mean, it was almost impossible to get to even this point, so we had to stop because, as you guys can see, there are logs like this completely blocking the road. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to show you guys exactly what it looks like. And if you guys are trying to get on Dauphin Island, chances are it's going to be tough because you're seeing things like this on the road. I mean, this is a pretty big log that was washed up, and then also all of these boards here washed up as well. So once again, AlDOT is saying that this road is going to be closed as crews work to move all of this debris off. It's classic protocol after a storm like Tropical Storm Nate. So we're going to continue to follow it out here, and we're going to try to get as close as we can here to Dauphin Island, but we can't promise that we can make it. Reporting here on the Dauphin Island Parkway, Zora Asbury, NBC 15 News.
All right, now Tropical Storm Nate made landfall, of course, as a Category 1 hurricane, I believe, last night. And
right near Biloxi, just after midnight. But we are still dealing with the storm surge. That's still a real concern, of course. Fortunately, it's low tide right now, so that's helping things a little bit.
Yeah, we still have a storm surge warning from the Mississippi-Alabama border all the way to the Okaloosa-Walton County line. So during the peak storm surge, we're talking 5 to 9 feet, but the waters are slowly beginning to recede. As right now, we're seeing Nate about 95 miles west-southwest of Montgomery. So it is weakening, but still we have some water getting shoved onto our shoreline. That's why we have a lot of streets that are still underwater, posing very dangerous conditions for drivers. Downtown Mobile, of course, has been underwater. You've seen all the video there, and really our entire viewing area is still under a tropical storm warning right now.
Yeah, and the video that you were just watching, that was on Airport Boulevard. That was a billboard that toppled over, and you know we
due
were
to those winds.
Was that from a tornado? We were under these tornado warnings all night. Was that possibly caused by a tornado there?
Well, you know, it could have been, or it could have been a downburst. You know, the National Weather Service always has to go out and investigate anytime there's damage or a possible tornado. So they're the ones that do confirm that. So I know that they've been extremely busy with Nate, and I bet that they will go and look at that damage because I know that that happened last night. There was a lot of tornado warnings in Baldwin County as well.
Jessica, you've been getting into this weather business. You're one of our newest members of the team, and you've been working behind the scenes. What did you take from all of this? Because this was probably your first working hurricane, right?
That's right. I just feel thankful this was such a quick storm as compared to Harvey and Irma and Maria. It just moved through our areas so quick. I mean, we still have a lot of flooding, a lot of damage on the roads, but overall, we are fortunate that it was such a smaller storm than our neighbors have seen.
Yeah, and that's something we need to keep in mind because we didn't really, even though there's some people and individuals that suffered, nothing to the extent of some of our folks over in Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico, so in Virgin Islands, so we're going to have to remember that. But let's take a look at what's going on there.
Yeah, you know, thankfully Nate has been a quick hitter, but we're not out of the woods yet. We still have a tornado concern across the far eastern zones of our viewing area. You can see those rain bands continue to spiral in near Fort Walton Beach, Niceville, and Crestview, and Okaloosa County, and then beginning to curve back into Conecuh County near Evergreen, right up I-65. So that's a look at the wet weather with this area. Heavy downpours, no lightning, but along Interstate 10, once you cross into Okaloosa County, it's like the sky falls out. Heavy pockets of rain and very windy conditions, and this makes for extremely dangerous driving. So that's a look at conditions there across the Panhandle, and just some showers near Conecuh County, right up I-65, in between Evergreen, Castleberry, and then moving out of our viewing area towards Georgiana. So a lot of this rain is going to begin to evaporate and dry out as Nate continues to pull away towards the north-northeast, moving at a really fast clip. There's a look at that tornado watch under the gun until 10 a.m. eastern zones of our viewing area. And here's a look at the wind gusts. So the winds are slowly beginning to relax, still gusting at 22 miles per hour for Mobile, 21 for Fairhope, 23 for Gulf Shores, and take a look, sustained winds at 15 Mobile, still stronger in Conecuh County, 20 for Evergreen, and we do have a tropical storm warning still in effect for our viewing area until further notice because there's still some pockets of extremely strong wind gusts. We still have the storm surge warning in effect. The waters are slowly beginning to recede in areas, not as high as it was, but still we have a lot of water covering the roads, and you know the drill. Turn around, don't drown. A lot of deaths occur weather due to storm surge. All right, here's a look at the rainfall over the past 12 hours. About 3 inches Mobile, a little over 2.5 for Fairhope, close to 6 for Gulf Shores. And here's a look at Nate. Still, this storm remains lopsided, bringing just some spiraling rain bands now, not only across the Florida Panhandle, but as you can see, continuing to move across Alabama, Birmingham, and right now it is located about 92 miles from Mobile, or about 95 from the Montgomery area, and it continues to move at about 23 miles per hour. It's going to become a remnant low early tomorrow morning as it moves across the Appalachians. And when we show you the pinpoint predictor, notice we are still dealing with those storms, and then as we head towards noon, we're pretty much done. We'll have a few rain bursts or quick waves coming in during the day today, and then it looks like still some showers from Gulf Shores to Crestview early Monday. Wet weather at about noontime for Evergreen, but you can see we're not going to be dealing with flooding downpours, which is a good thing. We're going to talk more about your local forecast and what we can expect for the upcoming work week, but still on this Sunday, a lot of folks hunkering down from Nate because the effects are still with us. Take a look. You can see the causeway still underwater. Bankhead Tunnel still closed. This is not the day that you want to be traveling over the Bayway, and you just can't take the causeway. We'll be back.
All right, listen and look at this. Video surfacing of the widespread damage in our area. Grand Bay Fire Department posted this video of a power pole bursting into flames overnight.
Yeah, this is on Cunningham Road in front of Grand Bay Middle School. In the last half hour, we have confirmed 55,000 customers are without power in Mobile County. Baldwin EMC and Riviera Utilities in Baldwin County are showing more than 3,000 customers without power in Baldwin County. On the Florida Panhandle, crews are working to restore power to about 12,000 customers.
Now, some of you are watching us, streaming us on Facebook, watching our stream online. If you need to report your outage, you can call 1-800-888-2726. You can also go online to alabamapower.com. And water still covering some roads, making driving dangerous.
NBC 15's Megan Gannon is in Mobile surveying some of the damage. Megan, what are you seeing?
Well, Andrea and Darwin, we are out here on Water Street right in front of the Riverview Hotel, and you can see that there is still a lot of water. If I walk out just a little bit further, you can see that it actually is going to get shin level, but the good news right now is that it has started to recede. You can see right now the middle of this intersection, there's really not that much water still there, but on both sides of the road, we still got a lot of water built up right here on Water Street. But let me show you this. This is what it looks like earlier in the evening when this storm came through. You can see just how high the water level got here at the Riverview Hotel, and it's pushed all of this debris up to the stairwell leading in to the hotel. So that's what we're looking at right here in downtown Mobile. Now, Mobile Fire Rescue Department, they say to not be on the roads. If you do not have to be on the road for any reason, they ask you not to, because there is still a lot of water on this road, and we already had one stranded motorist whose car is still parked over there, and he is still over there, I believe with his dog. That's who Zora talked to earlier. So we're going to continue to monitor the situation out here as this water continues to recede. Reporting from downtown Mobile, Megan Gannon, NBC 15 News.
NBC 15 weather with meteorologist Kelly Foster.
It is 7:16. Got to show you this traffic cam. Take a look. The causeway underwater, still closed to drivers, and the Bankhead Tunnel is closed as well. You know what? Just stay home today. Make it a movie day. Read a good book. We're still dealing with storm surge. It's dangerous to get out and drive in this mess. Water is covering roads in downtown Mobile and in other areas that are low-lying, and so it's kind of hard to tell the depth of the water out ahead of you. So we always encourage you to turn around, don't drown. Please remember that storm surge really claims too many lives, and it looks like they're turning the camera there, beginning to zoom in, and water completely over the road, extremely dangerous. Of course, Zora Asbury was covering the story in downtown Mobile earlier today with a man and his dog that were stuck, and emergency crews told them you just have to wait till the water recedes. So it looks right now that we're still going to be dealing with this problem
for the next several hours. Here's a check at the live pinpoint Doppler. A few showers up near Evergreen, Frisco City. Spiraling rain bands continue to rotate in towards Fort Walton, Niceville, and Crestview in Okaloosa County. So driving rain moving by this wind. Water continues to get shoved onto our shoreline. All of this from Nate, and they're still going to have the potential for a few spin-ups. So tornado watch remains in effect for the eastern edges of our viewing area, parts of Conecuh County, Escambia County, Alabama, Okaloosa, and you can see beginning to bend back into the beaches of Santa Rosa County. The winds are still up, and this continues to shove that Gulf of Mexico water onto our coastal counties, including Baldwin County, as well as our beaches. Right now gusting to 22 Mobile, 21 Fairhope, 26 for Pensacola. Much better than it was this morning when I drove into work when the winds were gusting up to 55. Sustained at 15 Mobile, 17 Pensacola, slowly beginning to relax. We still have a tropical storm warning in effect for our viewing area and a storm surge warning as well for the Mississippi-Alabama border all the way to the Okaloosa-Walton County line. Peak storm surge at about 5 to 9 feet in areas, but we are going to slowly begin to see this water recede. Now, here's a look at the rainfall total over the past 12 hours. 3 inches Mobile, close to 6 for Gulf Shores. Heard reports that we've had close to 6 in Grove Hill, 3 for the Pensacola area. So we are going to have the potential for some flash flooding as well. We still have a flash flood watch in effect. Here's the good news with Nate. Max sustained winds right now are at 45. It's located 92 miles from Mobile, and it's still racing north-northeast at 23. It's also about 95 miles west-southwest of Montgomery, and you can see this is going to be a remnant low as early as tomorrow morning, and then it's going to push back off into the Atlantic. So 7 o'clock, storms still across the Panhandle and north of town. We'll begin to see a nice improvement. Still that flash flood watch for the northeast quadrant of our viewing area. Rough waters, seas as high as 10 to 13, and we will begin to have less rain in the forecast as we head into a brand new work week. Here is a live look at traffic this morning, and there is another shot right there of the Bayway. Notice Mobile Bay very active and rough. The causeway underwater, and that is closed, and the Bankhead Tunnel is as well. And you can see AlDOT really zooming in on the drivers. Here's a look at the causeway, and you can see water continues to get very close from this vantage point. Other areas of the causeway completely underwater. It looks like they're going to have to do some cleanup there. A lot of debris washed in from Mobile Bay with that strong southerly wind, of course, just shoving that water over the causeway. So we'll continue to bring updates on these conditions throughout this morning cast.
Kelly, thank you. Our team coverage continues right now. NBC 15's James Gordon joins us live from Baldwin County.
James, Gulf Shores saw its fair share of wind and heavy rains, and when we heard storm surges of 9 feet, we were really concerned about you guys.
You know, the storm surge, I've been told, was a lot less than that, but the water did reach the barriers right here onto the main road. But then, of course, that's receded since then. And, you know, boy, are we glad that Nate is on his way out. But it's not leaving without a fight. These winds, like Kelly was talking about, these wind gusts, 50 mile an hour, perhaps 20, 25 at times, a lot heavier than it was last evening before I left this area about 5 o'clock. Grant Brown with the City of Gulf Shores is joining us now. Grant, what is your assessment? I know some of the roads have some water over them, but it's not really that big of a deal. Am I right?
Well, there's quite a few of the locally flooded areas, the Windmill Ridge Road area, West 8th Street, 6th Street, 4th Street, 5th Street. The typical areas around Little Lagoon are water over roadways not passable at this time. The north side of our city along West Canal from about the 700 block toward the Oyster Bay area, the north side of the canal on Waterway West, which is toward the Flash Island area, and even up along County Road 6 West, which is some of the Bon Secours River waters that are out of its banks and actually flooding over the roadways. So people have to be very careful. Localized flooded roadways, don't drive through the water.
And when we talk about the beaches right now, we still have double red flags flying, and we may have these rip current conditions all the way through Wednesday. Is that right?
Right. The forecasts are not to have good swimming conditions until later in the week. We'll keep double red flags up at least through today. We'll check tomorrow and the next couple of days, but right now the water is still closed.
Okay, we'll check back with you a little bit later in this broadcast. You know, folks, Gulf Shores is now going to have to get ready for the Shrimp Festival, which is next weekend, and they'll be cleaning up this beach starting this evening and tomorrow. And of course, that's the big event here, and we hope that they can get to that pretty soon as they start cleaning up the beaches. and we'll toss to a break. We'll be back right after this.
It is 7:25. Nate is now a tropical storm, but we are not done with the impact. We still have storm surge across the area, flooded roads in downtown Mobile, and gusty winds. Right now located about 90 miles from Mobile, still a lopsided storm, and we've got feeder bands moving into the Florida Panhandle, Okaloosa County right now, where we still have a tornado watch in effect there until 10 a.m. this morning. So it's moving north-northeast at 23. It's going to be just north of Birmingham later today, and then a remnant low early tomorrow morning. We're talking just after midnight as it moves across the Appalachian train as we head on into the first part of the work week. So this is just going to fizzle and fizzle fast, but our big deal is the storm surge, and it has been slow to recede as Nate just shoved a ton of water right onto our shoreline, made landfall in Biloxi, Mississippi as a Category 1 hurricane, and so that storm surge continues. The causeway underwater, Water Street has been underwater, the Bankhead Tunnel closed, so be very careful. Never drive over roads when you don't know the depth of the water, when water is covering it. So you know the drill, turn around, don't drown. We still have a storm surge warning. We're not out of the woods yet, and this is from the Mississippi-Alabama border all the way to the Okaloosa-Walton County line. Take a look in the surf zone. Double red flags are up. You can see that beach picture on the right quadrant of your screen, and the swells are continuing even though Nate is pulling away and has made landfall. It's going to take a while for the Gulf of Mexico to relax. Again, we are going to see all the rain out of here by noon and a few quick bursts coming in a little bit later today. We'll be back.